That year, the HOA once again attempted to interfere with my farm operations, this time targeting my move to a newly acquired section of the property. Karen, predictably overconfident, assumed she could assert authority over my relocation, calling the police and insisting that I comply with HOA rules. What she did not anticipate, however, was that my child, fully trained in operational credentials and emergency dispatch, would step in to assert control, turning her interference into a spectacular and humiliating failure. The morning began quietly. Titania and the herd grazed along the perimeter of the new farm section. Geese patrolled the pathways, and goats explored embankments and trails. My relocation involved moving essential livestock, equipment, and operational materials, all carefully planned and legally documented. Every move was synchronized with environmental permits, zoning compliance, and security measures, ensuring the process was both efficient and fully lawful. Karen arrived mid-morning, clipboard in hand, shouting demands and insisting that I halt the relocation immediately. She claimed that the HOA had the right to control access and enforce rules, ignoring property law and the detailed permits authorizing my actions. Titania immediately positioned herself at the forefront of the herd, stamping her hooves and signaling territorial authority. The other horses fanned out along approach paths, subtly controlling movement and guiding access. Geese honked in synchronized bursts, creating an auditory deterrent, while goats blocked narrow trails to prevent unauthorized access. As Karen grew more insistent, my child stepped forward, holding fully recognized operational credentials and emergency authority documentation. These credentials authorized them to oversee farm operations, relocation procedures, and emergency interventions, including interactions with law enforcement. The police, who had been called by Karen, arrived expecting a dispute, only to be presented with clear, legal authority in the hands of my child. The officers immediately recognized that any attempt to enforce Karen's demands would be both unlawful and inappropriate. The animals maintained their disciplined positions throughout the standoff. Titania and the herd controlled key access points, geese patrolled perimeters, and goats monitored embankments and trails. Their coordinated presence reinforced the authority of the farm's operations, making it clear that interference would be futile. Karen, flustered and panicked, realized that her attempts to halt the relocation were entirely ineffective. I calmly oversaw the continued relocation, moving livestock and equipment to the new farm section. Titania grazed nearby, the herd patrolled the perimeter, geese flapped and honked along strategic points, and goats explored embankments, maintaining vigilance and ensuring operational security. The farm's operations proceeded smoothly, fully compliant with legal and environmental standards, while Karen's attempts to intervene had been completely neutralized. By mid-afternoon, the relocation was complete. My child's credentials had not only prevented interference but had also ensured that law enforcement recognized the farm's absolute authority. Titania and the herd continued to patrol the new section, geese maintained perimeter control, and goats explored trails and embankments, reinforcing the security and operational integrity of the farm. Karen and the HOA had been publicly humiliated, their interference fully neutralized, and their authority exposed as irrelevant in the face of legal and operational preparedness. That evening, as the sun set over the newly relocated farm section, it became clear that the farm's authority was unassailable. The incident demonstrated the perfect integration of legal documentation, strategic planning, operational execution, and animal coordination. Titania, the herd, geese, and goats had all contributed to maintaining discipline, security, and authority, while my child had asserted lawful control over the process. Karen's overreach had failed spectacularly, leaving her frustrated, embarrassed, and powerless. The successful relocation stood as a symbol of resilience, intelligence, and strategic foresight, proving once again that audacity without understanding legal authority, operational planning, and coordinated enforcement is destined to fail. The farm had once again demonstrated the perfect combination of human, animal, and procedural resources to maintain unassailable control over its property and operations.